We're going to talk about Hocus Pocus 2, the most creative sequel name. No, I'm just kidding. I'm doing Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus, holiday movie. We're going to talk about it. Let's go. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I have Taylor here with me, and we're back to review Hocus Pocus. Woo! Yes, we reviewed part 1, and now we're part 2. At the end of part 1, when we did the review, we had no idea there was even a sequel until when we were recording. We looked it up and we're like, oh my gosh, there's a sequel coming out. So here we are a year later to talk about it.
Yay! Woo-wee. That's true, huh? We were on the couch and I was like trying to find an actor's name. I was like, wait, 2022? What's going on?
Flashback. They leave a cliffhanger, so
I hope there's not already a Hocus Pocus 2 and we're just
jeez. Okay, hold on.
End of flashback.
Here we are.
And it was cool because they brought back the original 3.
Yeah.
And they definitely hold this movie together. Yes. They are the movie. They did such a good job. They jumped right back into character. I couldn't even tell the difference. They were great. The singing was great. I mean, the instead of Elton John, the witch is back or what? The witch is back.
Nick, language.
Is that right? Is that the right title?
Back.
Yeah.
The musical numbers didn't really do it for me, but I mean, they were well sung. They were just kind of like, oh wow, this is happening right now. All right. For me, what I think helps me determine if I really liked a movie or not is how much I think about it when it's over. Can't say that really happened with Hocus Pocus 2, unfortunately. Yep. Even Hocus Pocus, when we rewatched it last year, I did think about it because it is pretty unique, even though you and I both don't really have a lot of nostalgia with it. It is like a unique, interesting story. But Hocus Pocus 2, I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, but there are elements that I liked, others that were kind of eh.
Yeah, there was moments where it's like, okay, this is fun. Like they did a good job. Obviously, some jokes seemed like they went on a little too long. Like when they were in Walgreens or CVS, one of those stores, and they're like, "Oh, the potion," and they're like licking it, eating it. I'm like, okay, kind of going on for a while now. They're like just eating all these products and sprays and stuff like that. Like it was funny, but it's like, okay, you're going a little too far with the joke.
Yeah, and the selfie joke too. It's like,
oh yes,
what is this? And they pose for the camera. Yeah, it's like I can't imagine that would be the reaction, but all right.
And what's interesting too, I feel like everyone else in the story I don't remember. I remember the witches, but I can't remember any of the names of the other characters. I remember what's his name's in it from Arrested Development, just because I know him from Arrested Development, Baby Buster.
I'm a monster! Oh God! Monster! Hey, brother.
Yes.
But other than that, I can't hold on to anything. I really can't hold on to anything from this movie, where I still remember the cat in the other movie and the other characters and the virgin lines and stuff like that. So obviously even the secondary characters held more weight in the first one compared to this one. It just really fell short. And I have one big gripe with this thing, which I'll save for the end. I'll save it for the end. It's just what they're doing now with villains and stuff like that. But one thing we need to talk about is they brought back her lover, Billy Butcher or whatever. And that guy did such a good job just popping right back into character. That's
zombie, right?
I just thought that. Yeah, the zombie guy. Yeah, he just did such a good job. The way he moved, it just reminded me exactly the way he moved in the last one. I'm like, dude, he captured the magic of his performance in the first one, just like the witches did. I feel like they captured the magic of their performance. Story plot lines were weird. They're after the guy's blood, and then they're they don't care about the blood, and then it's just it's very. And then it's oh, we're gonna do the spell. Yes, there's a lot of hocus pocus going on here, but and then I just gotta get off my chest. I'm not a fan of redeeming the villains.
Yeah.
These witches eat children.
I'm all for seeing people as 3-dimensional and whatnot, but the eating children thing, I feel like it's not really a good precedent to be let's try to see the good in people who hurt children.
Yeah, and I just thought that was so weird. Like, I loved them in the first one. They're villains. We don't have like a, it's like they're like a Dr. Evil, like a good villain that you always think about. Like, oh, that's a great villain.
And
even
they're
though it's
funny
comical,
and
it's
charming.
funny. It works, and it totally works. But in this one, I get the emotional toll, and it probably hit with a couple of. It didn't hit with me, but it hit with other people probably and stuff like that, and the bond that they had. But I just don't get the idea of redeeming witches that sacrifice children so they can live longer.
Right. Yeah. That's tough. And I think that they really tried to rely on building that empathy in you as the viewer, like during the flashbacks when it's like, oh, wow, they really are in this together. But that's a total of what, like 3 minutes? The whole movie and the whole of Hocus Pocus, they just don't like each other. Like they're just annoying to each other. So it's kind of like, that didn't really stick. Even though you see what they've gone through before, didn't really hit. I don't know. You feel that way too?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I don't know if the flashback was necessary. They could have just had them be summoned, but I'd see why they did it in order to create the emotional tie-in at the back end. And it was really weird too about the other witch too that was in the woods.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Where did she? Yeah. Okay. I think that they had to use her to set up like the all-powerful spell or something.
The book, right?
Yeah.
That's how they get the gift of the book, where they can do magic and stuff like that. So.
Wait, I was going to say something else on this. I think along the lines of characters, the three sisters, what are they called? Not the Stanford, whatever. The three witches, their characters are so strong that I feel like in comparison, like the three girls, the teenage girls are just like so bland. All the other characters just like don't really bring it. Like the energy is so high with the three witches that the other characters kind of just seem like they're talking like this. I don't know. That's the kind of vibe I got. Like,
well, yeah, I guess it's true because like a lot of the background of these characters are almost like theater, musical performance. Like it's so over the top with everything they do. Even that one witch, her lips always pushed out to the side the whole time, and I think something happens where she gets hit and she moves it to the other side, which I thought was comical.
Yeah.
But then like even Sarah Jessica Parker, she's like over the top. They're all very over the top in their personalities. Where the new three girls are just very bland, and they're almost all the same. There's no features that really stand out other than one likes a boy, the other one has magical abilities, and then the other one's trying to bring the two together, you know what I mean? So it's just like they don't stand out enough from each other, I feel like.
And I think that they really felt, like I said, they kind of fall short in making us believe, or trying to get us to believe that these sisters or these best friends are really that close, because for the best friends, they rely on showing us a picture of when they were kids to be like, look, they're so close and they're like sisters. And then when I don't know any of their names, when Bette Midler,
I know that's how boring their characters were.
When Bette Midler comes and like steals the girl who's like kind of like been flaky with them, I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, eat her, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, she's better off being there than grounded, probably.
Yeah. And okay, sorry, I hit the mic. So is Buster? I didn't really get, like, is Buster being, that's his character name in Arrested?
We have unlimited juice. This party is gonna be off the hook.
Oh man,
Baby Buster.
Is the mayor supposed to be like a reincarnation of the minister, or is he supposed to be just like a descendant? That looks exactly
after like 100 couple years. Yeah, he looks exactly like his grandfather.
Okay, also with that, they waited way too long to tell us that he was their best friend's dad, because at first I thought they were just like talking to the mayor like he's their friend. I'm like, what is going on here? And it's like, oh, he's their best friend's dad. Still kind of weird. Why are you calling him? I don't know. Strange choices.
Very strange choices. And it was fun though seeing the technology brooms. Like you have the one original, and then she has the rumbas, and she's like trying to stand on them and stuff like that. It's like, like there were a couple funny moments that I want to give it credit for. I don't want to go in too harsh, like, because it is, I see this as like a TV movie, even though I know it's made for Disney Plus, and I think it's one of those things where Disney was just like, we need more content for our streaming platforms. What do people like for holiday movies? we have Hocus Pocus. Why not make a sequel? Since all the witches are still alive at this point.
Well,
So,
I have a more cynical take than that. I think that Disney Plus has they have their market down with like kids, families with kids have Disney Plus, but they need people like us who are millennials who may not be buying it for like their 5-year-old. So that's my cynical take of why they made Hocus Pocus 2, because it's like well known as like a millennial nostalgia movie,
yeah. I mean, what's next, right? What are they gonna remake?
Yeah, right.
Blink.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say all of the Disney Channel original movies. Okay, that would definitely get me to buy it. So they should do that.
Blink. Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah. After they released Hamilton, and then we all just unsubscribed. So they're like, we need something else.
I know, because like the Disney or the Marvel stuff's not really hitting it for a lot of people.
Yeah, once you've seen it, you've seen it.
The Star Wars stuff isn't either. You know what I mean? So it's very much like, what are they going to do with the platform at this point? So unless you have kids, it's great because you can rewatch all the old Disney films. You don't have to buy the VHS tapes or the DVDs. They're all there, easy to play. But man, not as good as the original. But obviously, you got to give credit to the 3 actresses. They did such a good job coming back and just being the witches again. Like they fell right into those roles, which was fun. Like just it felt like they never left, kind of thing, other than like age hit them. But
yeah,
which kind of makes sense for the story though, right? Because
exactly.
they have to get they have to eat a child to be young again.
Well, and they're just waking up from when we last saw them too, so that kind of that works well too. I was going to ask you what you thought about the visual effects.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, the book looked good with the eye.
It also looks good in the original, by the way. I thought the original VFX were decent for the time.
Yeah, but they used a lot of practical effects too in the original, which was fun. Like they did the wire work, they did puppets in the sky. Like they did a lot of fun practical VFX with some green screen and stuff like that. This you can tell very much green screen heavy when they're flying around. They're probably not as much wire work because they're probably older now too, unless they get a stunt double to do it and stuff like that. But not as much VFX shots though, I feel like, because there's not as much magical. I mean, other than the lightning, but I mean, lightning's lightning coming out of fingers, which was interesting that girl was able to do magic without even having to read the book.
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention for like 5 minutes, and then that happened. I was like, I'm not going to try to figure that out. I don't know what's going on.
And then like by combining their hands, they can all use magic. I don't know. I don't understand the logic in this movie. I don't know if we need to for this type of movie, but it definitely threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, would I watch it again? Maybe after watching the original for a Halloween special, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'll go and like click it, have it on in the background. Do I want to watch it again? Probably not. I would prefer to watch something like Nightmare Before Christmas, even though that's more of a Christmas movie, but you can watch that during Halloween too, or just go full horror.
Both. Yeah.
I
want to shout out. I don't know if you would.
Yes. Go for it.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny when they revealed the magic shop owner. I actually kind of liked that plot line when it showed him hiding behind the gravestone when he was like, he was like a child. Mm-hmm. That was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But he is like a legendary comedy actor, and he's in a show that I love, I Think You Should Leave. And yeah, it was just a really random choice that they had him. But I thought his character was kind of cool. Like they needed something to bring the through line from the first to the second. And I think he worked really well. Something I will give the movie credit for too is that it's not just like a remake of the original. Like they tried to like make it work in the present day. Yep. So I think it did pretty well with that.
Yep. You know what's interesting? They didn't give up. It might have been cool to see a backstory of the 3 girls actually being close and younger instead of seeing the 3 witches.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then we would maybe have more of a connection to them. Because we already know who the witches are. We don't need a backstory on the witches.
Right.
We kind of got that in the first one, right? We got the backstory of them killing. But I guess that makes sense though. In the first one, we get the backstory of why the guy's a cat, or you know what I mean? Why he's trapped in the cat body and the whole thing with the sister. So we got backstory, so we actually have like an emotional tie to what's going on, kind of thing. So
yeah, and I think
maybe that's what was lacking. I don't know.
The flashbacks for the sisters, I think, also served as kind of like a 2022 like female empowerment sort of thing. You know, like they like got out of this like oppressive situation.
Forced marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty oppressive. And they like melded together. So I think like the elements of it were there. It was just like an hour and a half movie, so it didn't like stick that well, but whatever. It was fine. It was entertaining.
Yeah, it works for a holiday special on Disney Plus.
Yes.
It's not like you had to go to the theaters and pay for this movie.
Yeah.
Something you can have on in the background while making your trick or treat treats to hand out to the children.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And on that note, do you want to rate this? No, we don't even need to rate it. It'd be so low.
Oh, really? Would it? Wait, out of 10?
Go for it.
Don't we do out of 10?
Yes, I think it was out of 10 last time we did it.
I would say like a 6.5.
Yeah, I was going to say 5. Just like a 50-50 movie. Like, it's not the worst thing ever put on film, and it's not the best.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, we make really cool shirts here. This is The Shire is Burning, so Mordor it is. It's a quote from Stranger Things, but we make fun shirts here. Kyle, our resident artist, makes them. He posts them, and it's just a lot of fun. Go to AsArt.space for all the audio video links and also to get the shirts, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.
Hocus Pocus 3.
Yeah. Coming to theaters in July.
Probably, honestly. They would.
Remember the first one came out in July?
Oh, yeah. What the heck?